Some legends don't die. They just disappear along with this movie. Who is still talking about this one? And why not? Sasquatch Hunters. This one is a favorite from my teenage years. Does it still hold up? Well, let's get into that. But before we do, make sure to check out my book, Wild Man, which I will leave a link to in the description below. It's on Amazon on Kindle and paperback, as seen here. It has a lot of gore, cool scenes, and action, and I'd greatly appreciate any feedback you can give, as well as if you picked up the book or not, let me know. And if you want a signed copy, just let me know. I will arrange for that with a $15 payment, of course. So the book is $9.99 on Amazon, so $15 doesn't seem too out of the price range for a signed copy. So, yeah, let's get into the video now. Shameless plug over. The plot. A group of scientists and forest rangers head off deep into the wilderness to possibly uncover some bones. However, the bones they want are actually from a burial site. And I bet you'll never guess who the Guardians are. That's right, Squatches! Okay, so the reason I enjoyed this movie so much is because of the characters, action, suspense, and music. While the writing is a bit hit or miss sometimes, there's literally a scene where the guy's like, you remember the thing with you and me and yeah. It's like, what thing? What are you talking about? Regardless, I enjoyed the dialogue for the most part. Pretty much everyone starts off their journey chipper and full of energy. Most of them. That makes the characters likable enough, or at least understandable, even with some of the wobbly dialogue. Then when stuff goes south, they're trying to piece together just what is going on while trying to survive and come off as a bit tense. Massage them shoulders. It is done at the right times and it doesn't feel out of nowhere. Roger Gordon, played by Matt Latimer from Creature of Darkness, may he rest in peace, is a take charge kind of guy. He doesn't want to be there, but when all goes to crap, he has to step in and make the logical choices. Dr. Helen Gilbert, played by Amy Shelton White, is a nurturing, caring woman who is well-versed in the fields of anthropology. She has some nice scenes of comforting Janet, played by Stacey Branscombe. Janet could have been easily the most annoying character in the film, but she has some heartfelt scenes that make you really want to feel for her character more than just her being overly prepared. Janet has a friend, Brian. Brian and Janet usually playfully rip into each other, but when Janet's brother, Spencer, played by Rick Holland, goes missing, he's there for her. Speaking of Brian again, the actor who played him, David Zalina, from Scarecrow's Gone Wild, actually married Amy Shelton White, who, as I said, played Helen in this movie. I found that to be sweet. Dr. Ethan Edwards, played by Gary Sturm, is probably the eldest of the group. He's a paleontologist and is enamored when they discover the bones in the burial ground. Speaking of Dr. Ethan Edwards and the burial ground, I had a great idea for a sequel. Dr. Ethan Edwards, desperate to get the bones back to the lab, hires a group of mercenaries to head off into the wilderness and help him re-uncover them. However, of course, things go awry, and a massacre ensues. Getting back to the cast of this film, they work as a whole. I enjoyed all the characters and the journey they endured. In terms of setting and cinematography, it's all very lush and vibrant. There are some odd shots of beautiful nature. What I mean by that is that some shots are so gorgeous and breathtaking that you can clearly tell where they were implemented into the film before and after they were done filming, or before, as pickup shots. One shot will have the sun beaming through the trees, and then the next shot will have the characters in a standard wooden shot with no sun to be seen except the light in the wilderness from the sun, of course, but it's not beaming through trees, so it's inconsistent. It's a bit distracting, but it doesn't really take you out of the movie at all. The nighttime shots are really well lit. I know there's a version on YouTube of this where the nighttime shots are unbearably dark, but the DVD looks a lot better. I could make everything out, and it seemed like it was actually filmed at night. The director, Fred Tepper, took $300,000 of his own money to make this movie, and for the budget, the film looks great. Fred Tepper also worked on a lot of visual effects from films like Titanic, Phantoms, and Raptor Ranch. Unfortunately, he never directed another movie after this. The gore, the effects. We get a severed arm, a man smashed into a tree, a throat slashed, and some more. It's not particularly gory. In fact, it's rated R for language and some violence. Literally, language and some violence. It's a cool back cover, by the way. Speaking of the profanity, there's no F-bombs until a bit later into the film. Then after that, they just don't stop. I get it. It's a tense situation. But slow down on the language, man. The effects are a mixed bag. Sometimes they're good, but other times they look pretty rough. CGI was used for the Sasquatch for like 95 to 98% of the film. So other than a small handful of shots with a Bigfoot suit, it's all computer generated. The motion picture soundtrack, it's grand, it's big, it's epic, and sometimes even whimsical. You could argue it's too good for a movie like this, but I think it fits just fine. William T. Stromberg, who also composed Bugs from 2003 and Starship Troopers 2 Hero of the Federation, does an excellent job composing the music for this film. It's all a bit innocent in nature, and that goes with the chipper characters. I've always enjoyed this movie, but I can see its faults. It's definitely not the best Bigfoot movie, but it is still pretty dang good. With fun characters, decent cinematography, iffy effects, and amazing music, this film is decent. I'd recommend it to people who can look past some poor effects and enjoy the film for what it is. B-movie fun. Overall, I give Sasquatch Hunters a 2.5 out of 5. Thank you all for watching, and I am Brian Gatto, the horror show host. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Check out my book, Wildman, which the Amazon links will be in the description below. Also, like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon. Even $1 a month will help keep the channel going on strong, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, hit that notification bell, and as always, subscribe.